بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is form, meaning, and function. And if you remember, this lesson will be taking lots and lots of exercises. But before we do that, let's revise what we previously took regarding, if you remember these pictures, we're seeing here seafood, of course. What can you see this photo? Where can you see photos like this? Seafood here and there. This is salmon, of course. Maybe in restaurants, on plane, maybe. Do you find the food appetizing? Why or why not? Of course, it's according to your own preference. Then we took some articles, too much seafood. If you remember the story here about some people ordering too much seafood and ended up going to the hospital, and the other one who went to the first class on the airplane, and he ate a lot of appetizing smells wafting my way from the galley, if you remember. Then he ate some pepper sauce that I had. It was served with truffles and baked baby potatoes. Then we took the writing corner here. We took some hints. We want to write an essay about a memorable event, to brainstorm and picture different events, occasions, and scenes. Make notes about the picture in your mind. Think about the reader, the audience. Know your audience. Check to make sure you would not offend anyone. Check if you don't check that you don't offend anyone in your essay. Focus on the people, the setting, the events, the feelings as required, and so on. So these are today's objectives for the form, meaning, and function, to differentiate between the count and non-count nouns. If you remember the nouns, there were two kinds: countable and uncountable, or as it says here, count and non-count. Express quantity, use would like, identify words connected with recipes, use sequence words. So let's begin the lesson here. Count and non-count nouns. So let's read it together here. Count and non-count. Count nouns name things that you can count. From the name itself, count nouns, which mean nouns that I can count. Again, count nouns name things that you can count. 1 carrot, 2 carrots, and so on. They have singular and plural forms. They have singular and plural forms. So they have two forms, the singular and the plural. So 1 carrot, this is singular. 2 carrots, we added the S for the plural. As you can see here, a burger, a is for 1, a burger. 2 burgers, we added the S. An egg, and also 3 eggs. Non-count nouns name things that you can't count. For example, rice, tea, and all the liquids, of course. You can't count rice or liquid. You can't say I have 3 tea, maybe 3 cups of tea, so you can count the cups, but not the liquid, the tea itself. Same as the rice. You can't say I ate 2 rice, maybe 2 bowls of rice, 2 plates of rice. You can't say 2 rice. They don't use a or an, the articles a or an. They don't have plural forms. So the non-count, you can't count them. They don't use a or an, and they don't have plural forms. Some nouns can be count or non-count. A salad or some salad, a soup or some soup, and so on. Look around in the classroom and add more examples of singular nouns. So imagine yourself in the classroom. When you see the classroom, can you tell some nouns that are singular, that are count or non-count? For example, yes, the chairs, 1 chair, 2 chairs. The table, 1 table, 2 tables. The light, maybe. So this is in the classroom, of course. Expression of quantity, some and any. So we'll be learning some and any. We use some in affirmative statements. What does it mean, affirmative statements? We don't use the negative form. We don't say don't or not. The affirmative statements, the statements that doesn't have any negative statement. We use some in affirmative statements. We use any in negative statements and questions. So some with affirmative statements, any with two, the negative and the question. We use some or any with non-count nouns and with plural nouns. So with both of them, we use them with non-count nouns and plural nouns. Let's take some examples here. Do you have some? Do you have somewhat? Yes, very good. We don't use some, we use any with question. Do you have any milk, for example? Do you have any sandwiches left? So this is a question. When you, if you want to say a negative statement, no, I don't have any burgers left. So any comes with a question and the negative. But if you want to use some, use it with the affirmative. I have some chocolates left, for example. I have some peanut butter sandwich left, and so on. So if it's an affirmative statement, we use some. If it's negative or question, we use any. And we use them with non-count nouns and also with plural nouns. Here's there are some examples here. There is some juice. This is affirmative. There are some fries. So there are some fries. Because fries is countable here, we used are. Because juice is non-count here, we put here is. There is some juice. There are some fries. In the negative, of course, we'll be using any with both of them. There isn't any juice. There aren't any fries. And with the question, of course, we'll be using any again. Is there any juice? Are there any fries? Sometimes some is used in questions for offers. So sometimes, not all the time, sometimes, some is used in questions when you want to offer something. When you want to offer something. Do you want some pizza? Do you want some pizza? So this question is offer. You're offering someone to buy a pizza for him. Do you want some pizza? How about some coffee? So this is not a question. I know it's a question form, but it is an offer. Do you want some pizza? How about some coffee? And so on. So we use some with questions if it is an offer. We use the some in affirmative statements and any in negative statements and in questions. Is there any furniture in this classroom? So can you tell some furniture in the classroom, for example, using some or any? Using some or any, can you tell if there is or isn't any furniture in the classroom? Yes, let's take here, for example, there are some chairs and there aren't any beds, of course. There are some chairs, there aren't any beds. Would like, we use would like for preferences, something you like. Something you like, something you prefer. I would like some coffee. I would like a chocolate bar, for example. This is the question here. What would you like? Would you like some of the mustard on it? So, two questions here. What would you like? I'd like a steak sandwich. What would you like? I'd like. Of course, this is short for would here, the apostrophe D. I'd like a steak sandwich. Would you like some mustard on it? Yes, please. Or you can say, no, thank you. We use would like as a polite way to state a choice or preference. So would like is a polite way to tell someone what you choose. I would like some ketchup. I would like some chocolate. I would like some milk, and so on. So would like is a polite way to show your preference. Let's answer exercise A here. Complete the conversation. Use some, any, order, and would like. Some, any, order, and would like. You can use the words more than once. So you can use the words more than once, then practice with a partner. So let's read the conversation here. Umar, is this Gino's Italian restaurant? Tony? Yes, it is. This is Tony speaking. How can I help you? So you can notice here this is maybe a phone call. Umar, I want some food for delivery. So I want to, this is an affirmative sentence here. There's no question mark here or nothing negative here. So I want to, yes, order some food for delivery. I want to order some food for delivery. Tony, what you? So we have two gaps here. What you? Yes, what would you like? What would you like? So you here is in the middle between would and like. What would you like? I'd like, so I'd like what here, number 3? I'd like minestrone soup and the lasagna bolognese. So what do we say here? Very good. I'd like some, because this is an affirmative sentence here. I'd like some minestrone soup and the lasagna bolognese. Do you have apple juice? This is a question. So do we put some here? Of course not. We use any, because any comes with questions and negative forms. Tony, sorry, we don't have juice. We don't. This is negative. So very good. Of course, it's any again. Would you like coffee? This is a question, but it's also an offer. He's offering coffee. So would you like some coffee? Very good. If the question is an offer, we use some. Yes, please, 2 cups of hot coffee. Anything else? Yes. Don't forget to include, very good, to include some garlic bread. It's so delicious. So this is an affirmative sentence here. Here's a fun fact for you. Italy is well known for its soups, pasta dishes, and pizzas. Bolognese is the most famous pasta, and pizza margherita, the most popular pizza in the world, was first created in 1889 to honor Queen Margherita of Italy. This is a pizza made with the colors of the Italian flag: tomatoes for the red color, mozzarella cheese for the white, and basil for the green color. Also here, the biggest pizza ever made was baked in Norwood, South Africa in 1990. The massive pie was 37.4 meters across and weighed 12,194 kilograms. That's really heavy. It contained 4,500 kilograms of flour, 1,800 kilograms of cheese, and 900 kilograms of sauce. People all over the world like different toppings on their pizza. In Japan, eel and squid are favorites. In Costa Rica, coconut is preferred. Brazilian like green peas, and in India, popular pizza toppings are pickled ginger and minced mutton. So people are different how to top their pizza. Continuing with our lesson here, words connected with recipes. Those of you who like to cook will like this lesson now. Words connected with recipes. Some words we commonly connect with recipes are, let's take the dishes first. The dishes, we have the appetizer. This is in the beginning of the meal, like soup, for example. Then we have the main dish. Then we have the dessert, the sweets here. So appetizers, main dish, and dessert. The quantity of the thing that you want to cook: half, a quarter, 1, 2, and etc. Half a gram, half a kilogram, a quarter kilogram, 1, 2, etc. Or cup. Cup is used as a quantity: 1 cup of flour, or a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of salt or pepper. The same thing with tablespoon. A handful, to take with your hand, or a clove used with garlic. So a clove is used with garlic. The ingredients, the things that you put in the pot, for example: oil, eggs, salt and pepper, butter, milk, cheese, garlic, herbs, and so on. So these are the ingredients, the things that you cook together. Actions, what you do while you cook: you measure You measure 1 gram, 2 grams, 1 kilogram, and so on. You add things together. You put things together. You pour, especially the liquids, of course. You pour oil or milk. You cut the vegetables or chop, of course. Then you mix, spread, tear, and so on. So these are the actions you do while you are cooking. Utensils, things that you use. You use the knife, the spoon, or bowl, a bowl of flour, for example. Whisk, pan, the pan you use to cook eggs, for example. Cooking methods, how you cook things. You fry them, fried, like the chicken, for example. You bake them, like pies. Roast, like the chicken. You grill them, as you do with some beef. So all of these words are related to recipes and how you cook things. Here's a pasta with tomato sauce. The ingredients: 5 cloves of garlic, 3 cups chopped tomatoes, 5 tablespoons of olive oil, salt and pepper to taste, fresh basil to taste, 1 packaged pasta. Directions: what do you do here? Pasta, cook separately according to package directions. So you cook the pasta separately. The sauce: first chop the garlic into tiny pieces, then put the tomatoes, olive oil, and garlic in a saucepan with salt and pepper, and cook on moderate to low heat for 20 minutes. After the sauce is thick, remove the pan from the heat, tear fresh basil into pieces, and add it to the sauce. Pour the sauce over the pasta. So those of you who like to cook will really enjoy this lesson today, because it's all connected, especially this slide here. It's all connected to what you do while you are cooking. The actions, the nouns, the verbs, the ingredients, the utensils, spoon, fork, knife, and so on. So here we have 2 groups of words. The first one here: vegetables, carrots, bananas, eggs. The second one: bread, seafood, milk, and fruit. How are the two words in each group similar? So in each group, the words are similar. How? How are they similar? How are the 2 groups different from each other? So vegetables, carrots, bananas, eggs. How are these words similar? Bread, seafood, milk, fruit. How are these words similar? So, do you know the answer? So let's look for the answer here. The words in the first group are count nouns. Notice the S here: vegetables, carrots, bananas, eggs. So they are count nouns. And the words in the second group are non-count nouns. Expressions of quantity, to tell the quantity: a few, a little, a lot of, much, many, enough. So with count and non-count here, this is the count and non-count. You need a few tomatoes. So with count, we use few. You need a few tomatoes. I eat many vegetables. How many bananas do you eat? So now we know that many and few come with count. On the other hand here, non-count, you need a little cheese. Because cheese is non-count, we used a little. So unlike few, that comes with count, little comes with non-count. And instead of many, we use here much. I don't eat much bread. How much milk do you drink? So now we know that many and few comes with count nouns or countable nouns. Little and much comes with non-count nouns or uncountable nouns. Use a lot of and enough for both count and non-count nouns. So a lot of and enough comes with count and non-count. I eat a lot of eggs, but I don't eat a lot of bread. Notice here, eggs are count nouns, bread are non-count nouns, and both of them we used a lot of. So a lot of and enough, they both come with count and non-count. I don't eat enough fruit, but I don't drink enough water. So enough comes with fruit and with water. It doesn't matter if it's count or non-count. A lot of enough comes with both of them. Sequence words. Sequence words. First, then, after that, finally. Sequence words, when you want to tell how to cook something, first you put the pan on the fire, then after that, to tell the steps of something that you want to do. First you do this, then you do that, after that you do this, and so on, until you reach the final step, then you say finally. So it helps you if you want to make steps for something. Sequence words, first, then, after that, finally. First, you mix the flour and the eggs, then you add a little butter. After that, you put in a teaspoon of baking powder. Finally, you let it rise. So these are steps for cooking something here. Language builder here. Notice the importance of using the article a with a few and a little. We say a few, a little. So it's important to put the article a. Without the article, the meaning changes. For example, Joe eats a few carrots every day means that Joe eats 2 or 3 carrots every day. But when you say Joe eats few without the article a, carrots every day, means that Joe doesn't usually eat carrots. So the article a has a huge effect on the meaning of the word. Again, without the article, the meaning changes. If you say Joe eats a few carrots, it means maybe he eats just 2 or 3 carrots. When you say Joe eats few carrots without the a, it means Joe doesn't usually, as a habit here, doesn't usually eat carrots. Sequence words, first, then, after that, finally. First, you mix the flour and the eggs, then you add little butter. Of course, we mentioned this earlier. Language builder here, another one. In writing, we use the comma after the sequence words and expressions that begin in the sentence. The sequence word then can be written with or without a comma after it. However, then is used with a comma when it precedes a summing up. So when it precedes a summing up, the then is used with a comma or conclusion sentence. Then, notice here the comma, then you're saying you don't want to go. So use the summa if you're concluding something. Exercise B here, complete the recipe. Use after, before, twice of course, first, finally, and then twice. Let's read it together here, how to make a pizza. So the first thing here, of course, is very good. It's first, before you start, check that you have all the ingredients. Before you start, check that you have all the ingredients. So the first step here, put 3 cups of flour. So we say, yes, then put 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder into a bowl. Number 3 here, add half a cup of milk. So what do we say here? Yes, first, add half a cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of margarine, and 1 egg to the ingredients in the bowl, and mix them well to make the dough. So you want to make a dough here. Number 4, yes, after you have made the dough, let it stand for about 30 minutes. Number 5 here, you spread the dough. Very good. Before you spread the dough, make sure it has risen enough. So before you do something, make sure about something else. Before you spread the dough here, make sure it has risen enough. Number 6, spread it evenly on the pan using your fingers. So this is the next step. So we say then spread it evenly on the pan using your fingers. Number 7, you cover it with cheese and tomato sauce and let it bake. So number 7 is, yes, finally, because this is the final step. Finally, you cover it with cheese and tomato sauce and let it bake in a very hot oven for about 30 minutes. It serves 3 people. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson إن شاء الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.